Yes, guys, welcome back to Blues Fans TV. Welcome back to another episode of the Blue Balls podcast. Jay sadly isn't with us, but if you guys want to check out the Back Sports, where the link should be in the description for Jay's channel as well, they're getting ready and all set up for the Tottenham versus Liverpool live watch along. So once we're done here, if you guys want to check them out, hopefully they'll be celebrating a Liverpool win. But guys, we have a panel with us as per usual. We've got Kai, we've got Alex, we've got Fata. We're going to check out what these guys are saying. But first thing, before we start, if you guys haven't checked it out already, please check out the live OneFootball app. The link is down in the description below. The OneFootball app is the most reliable app that you guys will have to check out all the latest football news, all the most reliable football news, and also to decipher the difference between the most reliable and the fake news. Also, check out the live transfer indicator app, which has newly been added onto the OneFootball app, and this will be perfect for you just towards the end of deadline day to separate the real transfer news from the BS transfer news. And I'm already on the transfer indicator app, and our top deal is Marcus Alonso to Barcelona. Yeah, this one hasn't gone up too much in the transfer indicator rumor either, because Barca have made a history of bad deals. They aren't making one this bad, so don't worry too much about that. If you guys want to check out the legit rumors before the end of deadline day, check out the OneFootball app. The link is down in the description below. But yeah, let's get to our panel. Alex, first off, how's your week been, mate?
Mate, it's been good, to be fair. I mean, I would have liked to win, but, we move. But no, it's been good. Can't complain.
Yeah, been a massive week for Chelsea, as per usual. One manager's come out, another manager's come in. And the first 90 minutes, they gave a lot to be desired. There was a lot to look forward to and build on. Obviously, we didn't get the result that we wanted, but Thomas Tuchel had 24 hours in charge, so we understand the circumstances behind it. Kai, let me go to you as well, though, because this has been the move that you've been waiting for weeks. How's your week been, mate?
Been good, man. Been good. I've really, actually, first time in a while that I've watched Chelsea game without actually looking at my phone, So it was a really good game. The only thing that kind of wasn't really ideal was the result. But, considering the fact that they only had 24 hours, I'm pleased. We look like a completely different team. To me, the biggest shock was Kai Havertz. I was like, does this guy get beat in training? Like, why is he so good now, Like, the way he plays is just like a completely different player. So I'm impressed. I can't complain much, to be honest, with the amount of time he had to prepare. So it was a good week. We go on from here to Burnley, and we go from there.
Damn right, man. Fata as well. Chat to me. How's your week been, bro?
Eventful. 3 days with Frank Lampard sacking and then another manager coming in. It's just us being Chelsea fan. It's just like the stress within your vein, and that it's just unreal, innit? We'll never forget this week though, ever.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to look back on this week and see as a week where we've actually made some change for the better. But we will start off with the biggest news, which is obviously the fallout from the game. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Lineup was, we're going to say, a 3-4-2-1, even though we changed formations like various amount of times in the game, which was also so refreshing to see. But I think that's the one word we can use to describe it, refreshing. Alex, I'm going to start with you. What were your thoughts on the Chelsea Wolves game?
So yeah, I agree with the boys. I think we look like a different team. I was definitely happy. Like, I think we played with more intensity. I agree. Kai Havertz looked like a different player, to be honest. I don't know what's happened to him. Like, maybe like had a sleep, had a good dream about something, and then woke up and felt like he was a top class player. Obviously, I was frustrated because I did still feel like there was a little bit of a hang cloud over the Lampard situation, and obviously we did make a lot of changes. So even though we played better, I still feel like some of the players weren't at their best. But yeah, we are unlucky, to be fair. But we knew how Wolves were going to set up, though, and to be fair, they're a good defensive team. So I'll take a draw and we move, to be honest.
Yeah, same way. Draws, obviously not the result that we want, especially with the last 8 fixtures that we've had in the league before. But this one was about a bit more than that. We just wanted to see something that we know we could build on, like similar patterns of play, actual style of play that we can identify in the way that we were moving. And for a lot of players, like you said already, like Kai Havertz as an example, they seem like completely different men in the space of just a few days or a few different games. And that's, in my opinion, you can say that's a new manager bounce, but you can also say that's a bit more of a damning look on the manager. Fata, what's your points?
I just think the way that I like yesterday is the pressing, the mentality of this team has changed. And the level of the intensity is so high compared to the previous manager. And the fact that we only had one practice yesterday and another practice hours before the game. I don't know if you noticed it on that. But I just think that these guys are chemistry again. It's like gelling again under this new manager. If you look at Tuchel, yeah, what I like about Tuchel is that the fact that you can play one formation and then change another formation at a certain point of time. And at one point of the game yesterday, I saw when he played like 4-2-3-1 formation, what will happen is the fact that midfield will dominate it. There will be lots of passes and distance between the players will be short. And if you're against Wolves, they're going to do the ugly side of the game, which is park the bus. And if you look at Kai Havertz and Ziyech, is that you have to look in the middle as well. The fact that Jorginho and Kovacic, and I've been having another argument with someone on different channel in that, and the fact that I understand why Jorginho, a lot of people like hate Jorginho and that, but I just think Jorginho hasn't, like, the way he moved the ball isn't quick enough yesterday, and the fact that as a result, you're forcing Ziyech and Kai Havertz to drop deep, and the gap between the Ziyech, Havertz, and Giroud is too far.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that we've seen in the difference between Lampard and Sarri's play is literally the word that you described, intensity. We haven't seen any of that over the last few games, and we can't take too much off a 0-0 draw because, especially with the opposition that we're facing, because we know Wolves literally just came to take the draw. Their last few games have been absolutely poor leading up to this game. If anything, their form since Raul Jimenez has been injured has been absolutely in the mud. The only team they beaten was us a few weeks ago. But the way that we changed up for the game, as well as the difference in formations, everything like that, I did like to see a bit of positivity in the way that we played. Kai, let me go to you as well. What was the biggest change that you saw from Thomas Tuchel and Frank Lampard over the last 3 matches?
The pressing. It's like we've been pressing under this guy for years. Every ball, I think he said we have like 13 recoveries in their half.
More through balls as well than we did in the last.
Yeah, and the way that we pass the ball, pass around, the way that we play into spaces, it's like. I think Odoi said it perfectly when he came off like after the game, and he said like we just were trying to find solution to every answer, to every question that they would ask of us. And I think like the way that the team played, we tried different things, and I don't. It's not a dig on Lampard, but under Lampard, it's like our first instinct was to cross. And here we actually, like you've seen the players trying to do one-on-ones, trying to pass it to space. And I thought we were very unlucky in the end with the Havertz header. That should have been in. Like any other day with a just as well. Havertz, man. I don't know. Maybe Tuchel brought him some strudels from Germany, man. But
Sure, I think his connection's just faded.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
did you hear about my last?
No. Go back a bit.
Yeah. I said like Havertz for me was the most impressive, man. It's like Tuchel brought him some Apfelstrudels from Germany, man, because the guy was like so happy the way he was playing. He's finally like the same Havertz that we saw in Germany, and I'm because I am a big fan, Lewis. Like I watch the Bundesliga every week because here it's what everybody watches. So I was happy because we've seen the technique that he had, the passing, the off the ball movement he had, the passes he passed to space, and I'm just excited to watch Burnley now because under Lampard I'm like, oh shit, we go again, and now I'm like, oh my god, when is the next game? When are we get to watch the Chelsea again? Like all of us are dying to see what we're gonna do next, and it's a really exciting time at Chelsea. Of course, it's sad about the Lampard thing, but we move, Like Chelsea as a club will keep going, regardless of the personas in the locker room.
Yeah, I did want to ask as well because you said you've seen a lot of Thomas Tuchel's football. What have you seen in other games involving Thomas Tuchel that we potentially are yet to see under Thomas Tuchel in his time at Chelsea? Because 90 minutes is still it's still not really enough to fully judge the manager off. You can get a little bit of an idea of what he wants to instill in the squad and basic plans and basic systems, but it's never going to be anything too in-depth. So what do you think we're still missing that we've got to look forward to?
I think he's still what's happening with Tuchel now. What he's doing, he's having like kind of like trials. He's going to see like the players he likes the most, or the players he's gonna play mostly. He's still gonna have like rotations and whatever, but he's still like he's not like whenever I said this, I was on Monster's channel and I said the same thing. I said like if people are like looking into the team that he picks the first like on his first game, they are going to be disappointed if they think those are the players are going to be playing every week. It's just he usually just chooses a team to win. Like I think the fact that he chose his three at the back was perfect for Wolves because we nullified the counterattacks completely. They didn't do anything about to us other than that Mendy mistake, but that's it. And we're just gonna keep improving with pressing. I can already see like signs like we've been playing under him for a while. You know, like we already look like a much better pressing Tuchel team. You know.
Exactly, Dan. You look in the way that we were playing as well. Some of these players, like we've already spoken about Kai Havertz. I do want to have a discussion about the Jovicic pivot because there's a lot of people aren't really agreeing on this one, and I personally think we saw a better pivot between the pair of them than we've seen all season. But same way, a lot of people aren't really too happy with the end product of them. They said it was still too much sideways passes between the pair of them and not too much end product. But same way, I thought their ability on the ball, in terms of improvement, it's levels above anything I've seen from either of them over the last month.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, a combination of both of them is not there to get through balls. It's to control the midfields, which they did perfectly. I felt like the Wolves midfield couldn't do anything against us, and that's what they do. You know, I think people are harsh on both of them. To be honest, I think it's like, especially with Jorginho, I don't think he's this great player, but at the same time, I don't think he's as bad as people are making him. You know, people still associate him with Sarri, unfortunately, which it is what it is. But Kovacic for me was man of the match yesterday. I really liked how he was trying, creating. He almost scored as well. So I don't think they're that as bad as people make them. And the purpose for the Wolves, I understand why he picked them.
Alex, Fatter, anything else you want to add to that?
I just think with Jorginho and that, I understand why some people had agenda against Jorginho. But one thing we know for sure, I think what he's got to do, as again Lewis said, like the end product, the ball movement, especially in the middle, has to be quicker. And I think yesterday, I just think that they're not quick enough in the middle, especially like they're not intelligent enough. When you go in attack, they're not like smart enough to find the one that has a lot of space. And as a result, you can see like Ziyech and Havertz has to drop deep, asking for a ball, and the fact that Giroud's not getting any service because the gap is too far. So Ziyech and Havertz cannot pass a Giroud because there are so many defenders in the middle because Wolves park the bus as well.
See, that's the one thing I would say, because I'm not going to sit here and throw negatives at the new manager at one game. And I fully understand that the formation was based on experience and it wasn't based on his ability or a favoured 11 or anything like that. But same way, two things out of the game. I do think we could have done with Tammy Abraham a bit earlier into the match. Maybe Timo Werner as well, because some of the passages of play we were making, it was like a perfect through ball in across the face of goal. But there was no one there in the middle because Olivier Giroud hasn't got the pace to get there. Tammy Abraham or Timo Werner does get in there. So my one thing is I would have liked to see earlier subs. It's something we would have criticised Lampard for. I'm not going to criticise Thomas Tuchel because it's one day, but I would have liked to see earlier subs as well. What are you lot? Do you agree with me in the same case, or do you lot think I'm just being a bit too harsh on it?
No, I agree with you completely. Yeah, I think he should have brought on them a lot earlier. And on the Kovacic and Jorginho thing, like I'll be honest, I've always rated Kovacic more. To be honest, I just think like
same.
He can change the game a lot more than Jorginho can. If I'm honest, I don't know. I just think he has a different intensity. Also, the biggest thing that annoys me about Jorginho is off the ball, he can be lazy. Yeah. Like if he loses the ball or the team's like, in a situation where they need him to be like, have a good awareness off the ball, I just don't think he has the intensity defensively that Kovacic has. So I think that's the part of the game I think Jorginho needs to work on. I know some people will be like, that's not what he's there for. But like, if you're going to, anyone in the midfield needs to be able to defend as much as like look for the balls and look for the intensity. But yeah, no, look, I agree with your points about substitutions. But maybe he's obviously just trying to like work people out. So as you say, it's only one game. But if he keeps on doing those late substitutions, then obviously we've got a problem, because I don't agree with substitutions for the sake of it. But at the same time, like if it is 0-0 and we're at home and we need the 3 points, you need to make those substitutions at the right times. And we criticize Lampard for that at the same time. So
the one thing I do want to say about Billy Gilmour as well is I'm not really too sure about this guy's future, because Thomas Tuchel's saying he wants to keep an eye on all the 22 players in his squad. But same way, if we're going to reintegrate Jorginho back into the side, we might as well look at sending Billy Gilmour out to get a bit more game time anyway.
Yeah, just for the Euros, I think again, I don't like the way that we're sending out players on loan. We've seen this in the past. We've had multiple players on loan, and the fact that the reason is just to get a game time. I just think like, again, man, it goes back to Tomori loan again, like last week. I just think that, is he going to get a game time in the future with different teams when he was on loan? I'm not too sure though.
It depends on the club, and to me, it depends on the system.
Yeah,
it has to be an attacking team that you loan him out to.
It does depend. Yeah. Look, to be fair, Loftus-Cheek at Fulham, like he's getting good game time. He's playing well. I don't want Billy Gilmour to go though, to be honest, because I still really, really rate him. Yeah, like he's lacking confidence. He has been injured, but like people forget the game against Liverpool. I know that was a while ago, but like he looked incredible. Like he's such a good player, and I know people are like, he needs some loan time to like gain confidence. But like, what's to say he just 2 or 3 games in, he could gain confidence and get back to the intensity that we've seen with Billy Gilmour. The question is he better than some of our midfielders at the moment? That's the question we've got to be asking, to be honest.
Right now, I think
he should. Yes, sorry, Lewis. I would send him on loan. I think he needs the game time. Him just staying here until we can find like one game for him to use him, especially with the fact that we are chasing points right now. I think it's better for him to go for the rest of the season and somewhere and play. And I think it's not fair to compare to Tomori, because Tomori left because he had issues with Lampard. Let's be honest, and he just wanted to go and play, so he just left. But with Gilmour, I just think the more he plays, the better it is for his development, and preferably into the Premier League.
Exactly that. Moving on to another very positive player, another one that should have had so much more game time than he's had recently, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, if it wasn't Kovacic that won man of the match, it has to be Hudson-Odoi. He was on the left-hand side. First time he's played as a wing-back as well. And all it's done is expose how much he's improved on the defensive phase of his play too. Alex, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Callum's performance?
I've always rated him. I've been saying for a long time, I don't understand why Lampard was always bringing him on in the 75th, 80th minute. Like, it baffled me completely. So I was glad to see him starting. Defensively, looked good. The wing looked good. His awareness, his intensity. Like, he's just an all-round great player. The thing that we need from him, though, and it will come with time, is we just need him to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal. Like, I'd like to see him scoring more than he does. I appreciate that he's not always in the right position to do that, but I actually do think that we need to keep playing him, and I've always said he's a great player. So yeah, I thought he had a really good game against Wolves, and arguably was joint man of the match.
Yeah, Fata as well, if you want to add anything to that.
I just think with Callum Hudson-Odoi, I like the way he played in the different position. At one point yesterday, he plays a right wing back and then goes a left wing back. I think he can rotate at those sort of formation, and the fact that he can play at any position, like right wing or left wing, he's just like the best player on the pitch by far yesterday, and arguably fans player of the season so far.
Yeah. And if you remember, Lewis, I told you it's like Tuchel's gonna love this guy. He's gonna take him to the next level, even when he was rumored. Because one thing Tuchel does very well is make attackers into monsters, man. Aubameyang had his best season under him. Same thing with Dembele as well. So I think the fact that now he's working with a manager with this amount of experience, I think, and And like the thing with him, he might start at like as a wing back, even though he plays a little bit higher. The thing with Tuchel's system, it's like it's very fluid, so he can start from the wing and end up in the middle or whatever. But it's if he keeps listening and he keeps being under Tuchel, he's gonna develop to be in. Now he's showing us why Bayern Munich wanted him, because yesterday he was like arguably his best game in some time now. Like the way he's taken into players, and I'm glad that Tuchel is showing faith in him, and he seems to enjoy playing football under him. So let's see where it goes, man. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, he was up there as one of the best. That might have been one of his best performances in a Chelsea shirt, to be honest. But same way, his performances have been very few and far between as well. Half the reason why he played that well too is because we didn't have Reece James playing. I feel like we overloaded the right hand side a bit with both Hakim Ziyech and Callum Hudson-Odoi playing through that area of the pitch too. And Alex, I'm going to come to you again for this one. Do you see the Ziyech-Hudson-Odoi partnership as something we turn to a bit more towards the end of the season?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and to be honest, like people are like, oh, we shouldn't rely on like just the right. But I mean, if it works, right? Like, however, the only caveat I'll make is we can't be too predictable, because one of the things on the Lampard was we did turn into a little bit of a predictable team, and then we became very easy to play against. Like you saw that at Fulham, like we just looked like they'd worked us out from like minute one. So yeah, the partnership works. I like it, but can't be too predictable. So we've also got to have a strength from the left as well, if you get what I mean.
Exactly that. Anyone else want to add anything to it?
I just think, like, again, with Callum Hudson-Odoi, rotating players, because I think he's the type of player, like, he can do a right wing again, left wing again. It's just, again, like, go back to what Alex said about being predictable. I think, I remember when one time we got found out against Tottenham and that, and I remember that game when Ziyech literally, like, locked out because of 4 players around him. And from that point onwards, we start to fall downwards. And at the end of it, like, we just got to play like the one that suited the most for this team, and not to be predictable with other teams in that.
Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna be predictable under Tuchel, because the players they interchange their positions. Under Lampard, you knew what we're going to do. We're going to go from the midfield, pass it to the wing, to the wingers. The wingers gonna give it to the fullbacks, and the fullbacks gonna cross. But under Tuchel, if you saw, like, we keep changing. We keep going from the middle. Then we tried 1-2s. Then if it didn't work, we went like like high crosses, low crosses. This guy, I'm telling you, man. I've said, like, before he was announced, I'm saying a lot of people are gonna eat their words about this guy. This Chelsea team is going to be able to attack. It's like his system. I know a lot of English fans don't want to hear this, but it's like Sarri ball on steroids, man. It's gonna be like a more direct than Sarri ball. It's a lot more direct. It's faster pace. It's harder to counter against. Like, with all due respect to Lampard, Tuchel is 10 times the manager, man, and people are going to see it. People are going to see it, and and it's gonna get better every week.
Yeah,
some people find offense to it,
Yeah, but I've already said, like, Balding Alkies in their morning stage, they'll complain about everything. And this is the part of thing as well that I want to talk about. This revolving cycle of fans that supported the old manager just being the first ones on the neck of the new manager. And we saw remnants of that again in the 0-0 draw. A bunch of people on the timeline complaining, going, sorry, ball back again. Everyone wanted to sack Lampard just so he could pass sideways for 90 minutes. Here's the thing. I can't be arsed with the blatant agenda of just dropping another name in to just try and stir beef based on the fact that your manager's gone, when it was plainly obvious to everyone that Lampard did need to go and it was the time for it. And same thing as well. I want to talk to you, Kai, about this first. The childishness in this fan base of just always needing to be right and just always trying to go after the new manager just because of your agenda with the old manager. What's your thoughts?
You know what it's like? It's like a revengeful ex-man. We get it. Lampard left, okay, was sacked. But let's be honest, like, the way we were playing, it wasn't sustainable. It doesn't matter who you are, having 1.67 point average and having a win rate of 43%, you're not going to stay at any job. You could be Roman Abramovich's son or girlfriend or other girlfriend. You're still getting sacked at the end of the day because it's not good enough. And the reality is, they have to accept, because at the end of the day, Chelsea to you might be a football club. To them, that might be their living. There's still people who work in the staff. It's a living for them. It's more than just emotion. It's a job. It's a business. People need to understand it is a business. And failing to meet goals, that means that Chelsea will lose. So, and it cannot happen. We have to stay in a healthy position. People need to get that, to realize that. Stop being emotional. Get a little bit more protein in your diet. Be a little bit more testosterone full, less estrogen. You'll be all right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like everyone just lets emotion get too invested in themselves in the case of the sport, and especially at the top level, you have to be able to take emotion away from business decisions. Everyone was saying, signing Lampard might have been emotionally driven. Well, I don't even think so. I just feel like it was more of a PR move. Right? We've already said numerous times, if you look at the state that Chelsea was in at the end of the 18-19 season, even all due credit and respect to Maurizio Sarri, I struggled to see him turning that around, especially if the youth are the only players that he would be able to utilize as well. I don't feel like he could utilize them as quickly as Frank Lampard would have, which is why it was also the better move at the time as well. But it was an easy PR move. Get a manager in that the fans will back, and the fans will back them. And then you didn't just go and get any manager. You're probably the biggest legend that we had to manage the club. So, of course, everyone was going to go behind them and back them. If it was John Terry, without even any managerial experience, they would have done the exact same thing. Yeah. So with that in mind, how wary do people have to be of their own emotions when they're talking or thinking about football?
Go on, Alex.
It's a tough one, because when you're seeing your team lose or draw or just not play good football, you are going to start to become frustrated, and you're probably going to say things that you haven't thought about clearly. I completely agree about the point about football being a business. The economics come into it, right? The reality is, I can't remember, there was a figure, I think it was around 130, 140 million of not finishing in the top four. It's a big thing, right? And I actually think the board didn't expect Lampard to finish top four in this first season. I literally think they brought him in thinking he'll be a caretaker manager for a year and then we'll move on. And then he finished top four, and they were like, oh shit, we've got a problem now, because he's actually done pretty good with the youth, and he's strengthened this team, so we'll keep him. But he was never going to be there forever. And I've always said, managing at championship level with Derby is nothing like managing Chelsea in the Premier League. They're two different things.
Exactly.
Especially
when results don't go your way.
100%. And I just think it's I understand why fans are frustrated. Lampard should have been given more time. But the problem, it's easy for them to say that if they're not the ones actually with the goals and the expectations. Lampard would have been clear that he had to finish top four, and there was no path to finishing top four with Lampard. It's just the fact, right? And I understand people are you know what, it should have been long-term vision, stick with him. But how has that helped other clubs? It's not helped Arsenal. It's not helped United.
To be honest, to be honest, I don't think he should give him more time. What did he do with the time that he was given in the beginning? We had for the last 2 months, we were getting worse and worse since the Wolves game. What could he have done in the next 3 games that he didn't do in the last 2 months? People need to stop being subjective, put your big boy pants on, and realize that he was failing, and we couldn't keep failing. And that's it's unfortunate. It's a sad thing, because we all do love Frank Lampard as a player, but as a manager, it's a completely different ball game. And unfortunately, we were in a very bad pace. And the reality is, people were like, "Oh, we're only 3 points behind. Oh, we're only 6 points behind. Oh, we're only 9 points behind." We can't keep doing that. We had to do something, and I think the board made the right call. As painful as it is.
It's a shame, but it is what it is. And we've already said anyway, Lampard can come back in 10 years' time with more experience and actually come and take us to dreams that everyone was dreaming about. We've now got a manager with more experience, which means he can handle situations and problems better. But one big problem that we have right now that we still haven't really sorted out, especially with as close as we are getting to transfer deadline day, is the amount of players in our squad. And Tuchel said he's happy with the number of players that he has, and he thinks he has plenty of tools that he can try and use and change things around if he ever feels like he has to. But same way, how do you feel like he's going to be able to manage all the players' expectations? Because the fact is, there's still going to be a handful of players that are not going to be happy with the level of game time that they've had. Now, we've seen the impact that could have for Frank Lampard, because that's one of the reasons why he eventually lost his job, because he just couldn't keep everybody happy. How's Mane missed that? And But yeah, with that in mind, I do want to go to you, Kyle, as well first for this. How do you expect Tuchel to manage everyone's expectations?
I don't think he should. I think we need to get rid of Alonso as soon as possible. Every position that we have more than 2 players, we should trim it down. Other than the striker, because I do like the mix that we have with strikers, but I think Alonso should leave. I don't see like the purpose of him staying here since Emerson is a better player. I don't see like the reason of him staying. Who else is there? I don't think he will get rid of Jorginho because I think he does like Jorginho to control the games whenever we are playing against a team who can, we need to control the midfield with. And maybe a few players should go on loan. Yeah, Spurs scored.
Son's 1-0 up.
I didn't see what happened.
Spurs 1-0 up. Heung-min Son's just scored.
Oh.
Yeah, but we do need to trip it. But Tuchel rotates a lot, man. He rotates well. He uses different things. So I think he was genuine when he said like it's a good side squad. I just don't think he wants Alonso in his squad, to be honest. He'll learn the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, Alonso's the only one where I'm sitting there like this guy really can't be getting more managers.
Because we do have 3. Why do we need 3 left backs?
Yeah, and I've already said like, I prefer Asby on the left, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're going to go over Marcos Alonso. Left wing is completely different in itself. But I don't even rate him because... Oh, wait, is that an offside? Yeah, like I was saying, I don't even rate Marcos Alonso too much to left wing back because really and truly, I think he's only good with acres of space. You cut off that space, you still ain't going to be able to get anything out of the player anyway. But I don't mind him giving every player a fresh start, clean slate and everything like that. That's all cool. I also do think Thomas Tuchel will be the one that if he sees something that he isn't going to like, he'll be able to change it a lot quicker. Granted, the last game we didn't see subs early, but it's still one game. We can't say too much about
I think the first game was just a trial. Just a trial, man.
Yeah, that one was just a trial game. Like, there's not too much to look forward to. But if we are on the case of left wing backs,
bro,
let's talk about
Liverpool
Chilwell.
are having a Mourinho season, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Chilwell
Don't tell me they can see again. Yeah, chat to me about Ben Chilwell because Ben Chilwell dropped another bad performance. And, and a lot of people are now highlighting him because he was like the real bad point in what was an otherwise optimistic performance. What do you think it is with him? Form, or do you think it's something deeper?
I just think it's more of a form, Lewis. I think for the first 5 games he starts, though, he's done really well. But after that, I think when we had that slump, afterwards when we against Leeds, from Leeds onwards, he just slumped, though. I don't know, like, I don't think maybe a bit injuries that he might have, on his hamstring and that. I remember when he came off against West Ham, and then all of a sudden, like, I thought he's gonna be like out for weeks or maybe months and that, and so, all of a sudden he just come back so sudden last minute against Arsenal and that, and maybe it's like that kind of injury might still like haunting him the most, and the fact that I think he still gets scared getting another injury again this season.
Another injury? Is that what you're thinking? That's a new one. Go on.
What for Chilwell?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I know what you mean. Maybe he's worried about that, but like, I think it's form. Although I'll be honest though, like even the Leicester game, there was like a miscommunication between him and Mendy, and like sometimes like his decision making is a little bit off. As good as he is, like on the wings, and like he's obviously got pace, good touch, can cross, like good awareness. You've got to have good decision making when you're defending, 100%. Like otherwise, basically what you're doing like in the final third, if then your defending is shocking, then we may as well not have you because we need you to be a solid defender as much as we need you to be like putting in good balls and having good awareness on the wing. So I don't know. I need his decision making to get better because he worries me a little bit when he's defending, and I don't want to trust everyone that we've got defending. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear that. Kyle, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah. I mean, according to all the media, Chilwell is the only signing that Lampard actually wanted, and it doesn't look that well, man. It doesn't look that well if he's the only one he wanted. Thank God we didn't get Rice, is it? But
remember
to my other
players he wanted.
Yeah,
do you want
to my other point is, yeah, he needs to work on his first touch, man. Because if he does want to work out for Tuchel, everything is gonna go fast pace. He needs to like think faster, start like using his feet for the ball. Because I do see even Emerson fit in Tuchel a little bit. So I would be worried if I was him. Because one thing about Tuchel, he holds grudges, man. He holds grudges. If you see him playing for long, that you're playing bad, that's it. Even more than Lampard, I would say.
Okay, so Alonso is definitely modded once he gets a run.
I just think yesterday's game. I'll quickly say something. I just think from yesterday's game, I think at one point he Tuchel trying 3 at the back, and I just think Ben Chilwell isn't suited the most when he plays a left wing back.
Out of all 3 of them?
Yeah, I think.
Really?
Remember when Hudson-Odoi to switch to the left wing back as soon as Chilwell came off, he looked lively over there.
I don't know. To be honest, I prefer him as a left wing back. If anything, I think it should suit him more.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I'm not gonna judge him over based on one game. You know, it's not fair to him because he might be just up form. I've seen people say sell him, change him, get Regulan or whatever, but just one game in a different style. Yeah, just give him a chance. You know.
Yeah, no, we shouldn't sell him.
Yeah, I did want to ask. Go on, Alex.
No, that's fans being emotional when they're saying stuff like that. I hate when like we shouldn't be selling players like just because they've a bad couple of games. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
I did want to go back to you, Kyle, on that because you said Thomas Tuchel might prefer Emerson. Let me hear this one.
Well, he has like a really quick, good first touch. He's quick on the ball. The only issue with him defensively, but when you play in a possession-based system, you're gonna have the ball most of the time anyway. So you're not going to be like. But I want to see, man. But people who are worried about Alonso, don't worry. Alonso doesn't fit a pressing team. The chances of him ever being a regular is not gonna happen. But yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain about that. That's more than fine by me. We're going to move quickly on into the transfer news before we wrap this one up because that's literally what the whole title of this thing's about. Erling Haaland and both David Alaba have now been linked to Chelsea moves yet again, even though I think David Alaba is personally looking more like a Real Madrid move than a Chelsea move. Do have to take these with a pinch of salt because ever since we signed Thomas Tuchel, we have to expect that we're going to be linked to basically every Dortmund player and every PSG player as a result. And that's already happened. We've been linked with Verratti, we've been linked to Marquinhos. But, I mean, there isn't too much against this transfer. I swear there's a release clause that's coming up in the summer, which will be opened at the end of this season or next season. Someone will correct me on that. But for 62 million, that's a transfer I think we should be all over. If we have the funds for it, we should be all over for that. I'm going to go around the table. Start with you, Alex. What's your thoughts?
I'm like, from a club perspective, can't see it happening. Obviously our net spend is already quite high, so I can't see it happening. I would love to see both of those signings, to be honest. However, I'm going to be pessimistic and just say the thing is about signings, I don't like to get happy when I read stuff when I know deep down realistically it's not going to happen. So I even read the other day that because it's Tuchel that he might bring Mbappe. Like, do you know what I mean? Like everyone, like you said, we're going to be linked with loads of players. I just think it's a little bit like blue sky thinking. So I'm not going to lie. I think instead of signing players, we just got to work on getting big players like Havertz and Werner playing like top class football before we bring in anyone else in. To be honest,
you'd rather we just leave the transfer window to an extent, or only try and get small replacements around the squad, but anything too big in terms of players that would fight for starting 11 positions. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Which I know fans will be like, oh, that's a negative way of thinking. But again, from a club perspective, we made key signings in the summer. We've got a good squad at the moment. If we need to move people on, that's a different conversation. In terms of actual signings, I don't think we need to go make 60, 70 million big club signings when we should, with the squad we've got, be able to turn it around. I think that's my perspective on it.
Go on, Fats, what's your thoughts?
I just think again, I agree with what Alex said about the board's not gonna sign anyone during transfer window and that. But if you look at what are we in right now, the current situation right now as a club as a whole, why don't we take this opportunity to go out and buy these players, the likes of Haaland or anyone that linked to Chelsea? Yeah. Because we've seen this in the past. We've been taking advantage of this current time where other teams can't afford it because of the the situation that they are in, the fact that they had fund issues in that, they had the pandemic issues in that. Why not we try to use this situation and then go out and buy these players? At the end of it, like, it's not going to work. But again, I think the other issue that we got to look at is the fact that will these new players, they're gonna turn up at Chelsea, or is it gonna be another player that ending up like the likes of De Bruyne and then like Salah and that? We don't know. We just have to see, man.
All right, cool. And Kaya, let me hear your thoughts. How realistic do you think this Haaland's Chelsea rumors are? Because fact is,
I think the Haaland.
Go on.
Man. No, the Haaland thing. I think it might happen. Knowing Chelsea loves a bargain, and Haaland is a generational talent. If he's not like the best striker already, and the fact that we can get him for a little bit more rather than us get into a bidding war for the season after, I think Chelsea would do it. Similar to the Havertz deal, and I don't think Tuchel will complain. I'm happy we're doing it under Tuchel than we are under Lampard, because I know that Tuchel, as soon as he knows that it's gonna happen, he's already gonna be planning for it ahead. So I wouldn't mind it. The Marquinhos thing, I don't see it happening. PSG doesn't need money, so I don't see a reason for them to sell him. People acting like Tuchel can just bring Mbappe like they play together in the Sunday league, like there is no contract involved. You can just like, come on Mbappe, let's play for Chelsea, and that's how it works. And
and
that's not gonna happen.
Again, Lewis, like
no way you can go.
If Roman got the money in the bank, like why not? Why not take advantage of the situation though? Like, why not? Why don't we do it like last time?
Yeah. To be fair, the only
there. Gone.
Yeah. So sorry. The only thing keeping Erling Haaland at Dortmund is that new trainer they have, man. And like a little bit money, and he'd come here. So.
Oh, it's like that yoga trainer I was seeing.
Yeah, the yoga, the girl.
Yeah, the German.
That's the only reason Dortmund. If you see all the Dortmund players are doing yoga nowadays.
Yeah, as per usual, shameless football players, but we move. We love them, but they all have absolutely no shame about them, taken or single. It is what it is. Moving on to David Alaba, though, and this feels like one of the easier ones. Look, I'll be real, I just don't really see this one happening. I thought the Alaba to Madrid rumors were basically done by this point.
Yeah. I don't think he'd want to come to Chelsea, to be honest. Yeah, I think he'd prefer Madrid. I think he'd prefer Madrid.
Again, go back to Alex said, like, will the board do it though? I don't think so. And I just think as fans, I like the way that I like Alaba, that he can play in every position. He can play as a left wing back, play as a left back. He can play as a centre back, and he can play as a CDM role. Like, if we necessarily need him, like, why not?
Oh yeah, I'd take him. I'd 100% take him. But again, I don't. Yeah, I think people forget it's not just the clubs involved. The player has to actually want to come. Like, not just about the club trying to force the move. If Alaba, I can't see Alaba wanting to come to us, to be honest.
I could see him wanting to, but I think the biggest issue for us would be wages, because he would probably butcher our wage structure right now.
I mean, if Bayern can afford him, so can we, because Bayern doesn't really overpay for players or their wages. But that's not.
No, but
I don't see the investment.
I think he'd be on big money. He'd be on big money, to be honest.
Yeah, he'd be a free transfer if he left, wouldn't he?
What happened to Upamecano? Didn't we want Upamecano instead?
I heard rumors of Upamecano, but a lot of it is just rumors at this point. I'd take Upamecano as a much better short-term option. But also, it just feels like we're setting a team. We're setting a team more out for Nagelsmann, because we were saying the rumors all leading up to Lampard sacking were all
He's
basically
like 22, isn't he? Upamecano's like 22,
being our
23.
manager. Yeah.
Tuchel's better than Nagelsmann, man.
He'd be a very young option for us. And no, I'm not saying I would prefer Nagelsmann to Tuchel, but I'm just thinking the way the whole rumors were going out, it was all set up like the whole throne was ready for Nagelsmann to walk in for it. Because if we wanted Tuchel would have come weeks ago. Like, he's here now, but it feels like it's more been like a panic from the board because of how bad our results were. And it was just like, shit, we need to get a new manager in now. Otherwise, we ain't even making top 10 with this form.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not against Tuchel for the most part.
You
like,
say that, but
Go on.
But I saw many reports from folk saying that we were talking to him for months now. It's like we just decided to pull the trigger now. So I don't believe when people say, "Oh, he wasn't our first," because even he in the interview said that I was in contact for Chelsea for some time. But I think Chelsea were either trying to give Lampard time or whatever they were doing. But I think Tuchel was one of their main, because the people said Allegri, and even Fabrizio said Allegri was never an option to Chelsea due to the style of football
Allegri
he was playing.
I never thought was though.
No,
So
I think the Atlantic reported that can't remember his name. There was another manager that was asked and rejected the move. So I don't actually think Tuchel was the first choice for the board.
Nagelsmann.
No, it's someone else.
Nagelsmann.
Ragnick.
Yeah, that one. There.
Enrique.
The Atlantic
It was
reported-
interesting. There was another one where it was like because of how low the deal, because of how short the deal was, he never wanted to take it.
Yeah, he said no. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I was about to ask what took this deal so long, but then I remember the Athletic said the same thing where Tuchel wasn't initially interested because of how short the deal was as well.
Yeah.
But then he's realized how big the role could be for him, and he said like he'd be stupid to say no to this sort of deal. So I kind of understand.
Bro, and he's in love with our squad, man. He's in love with our squad for some time now.
Really?
Imagine how good it feels for our players, man. Because Lampard was like, Chelsea's not ready. And then this guy is like, oh, Chelsea's squad can challenge for titles. You know, it has so much some confidence back in their lives.
Oh, you just cut out. Repeat last 10 seconds again, please.
I said, imagine like the joy in the players' lives, man. From we can't challenge to this team can win the league in the future. You know.
Yeah, it's about that inner self-belief and motivation, and your manager has to have that belief in you yourself. Like that was probably the final nail in the coffin for me, because I'd always viewed Chelsea as a club as title challengers with the squad that we had, and that's never changed. So if we're going from having that sort of mentality and being that gassed at the start of the season to at the midway point being like, yeah, this Chelsea team ain't got what it takes to compete. We haven't got a squad that's ready, huh? What did we spend 250 million on then?
Yeah. After the Everton game, I was surprised that he was like, he basically trying to manage expectation. He was like, oh, you know, we will never title contenders, which was I think he played it wrong. I think he thought by doing that, he'd like make us underdogs. And if we were underdogs, and then the players would play with more freedom and then we would do better. It was like the reverse psychology. It's like he kept saying that, so then the players were like, all right, maybe we're not title contenders, and then they didn't turn up in big games, like going to the Emirates and getting spanked. Like that shouldn't happen. But yeah, I think Lampard.
The Emirates, that's a big enough question in itself, because
I don't agree with you.
Played like that.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think it was just. I think it was just deflecting to the fact that he didn't know what to do. I think it was deflecting from his own failure and tried to put it at the players. And it wasn't like the first time. He was doing it through the whole of the 2 months. We were just horrible, you know. Like we won like 2 games from like something like crazy, like 11 or something. I think he was just deflecting, and he was taking the players down with him, thinking that they're just gonna, you know, like flip and be this amazing players. But what he did is the players just lost all confidence. Yeah. Jeez, that Arsenal game, man. Jesus
games
Christ.
like that Arsenal match, it was awful based on the way that not even the way we set up, the way we went in mentally.
Yeah.
You know, as fans, we can walk in there and say, we should be beating these, we should be smashing these. They're in terrible form right now. Our team's better than them, we should be smashing them.
Yeah.
The players can't. The players got to be thinking, okay, they're not in good form, but where can they capitalize against us? Where can we capitalize against them? We walked in there and just said, yeah, this game's ours. These lot are trash. Can't even string 2 passes together. And we got done in. So I see a mentality issue as well. And also maybe a lack of communication. Because leading into all the rumors that were going in about, is that Son about to make it 2-0? Oh, that was a terrible shot. But yeah, moving on to some of the rumors that were coming out after Frank Lampard's sacking. The talks about Rudiger and Alonso and Jorginho, Kovacic, all going to the board speaking about their issues with the manager. It does go both ways, and I do believe the rumors to an extent. Just because Tammy and Azpilicueta come out and say it isn't true doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't true. It's maybe they just don't want you to chat about it anymore. Straight after a 6 p.m. kickoff, a 6 p.m. training session, they both put late tweets out about the situation. Both very close to the same time. Asby weren't even tagged in Tammy Abraham's post, but he got to and he retweeted it. It seems like the club would have just told them not to say anything, which kind of also leads into belief that something must have happened.
Yeah.
Didier Drogba also saying in his retweet, yes, like be as honest as you want and the fans will forgive you for everything. Does mean that there was something that needs to be forgiven. But I do also think it goes both ways in the case that you can say that the players shouldn't have gone to the board, but same way, if your manager isn't telling you anything, if he's not giving you any instructions, if you don't know where your position is in the squad, or you don't know when you're going to play next, of course you're going to go a level above to find those answers. No one's saying they kicked the door down screaming and shouting that Lampard should be getting sacked or nothing. But they could have also just gone up there and been like, yo, the boss ain't speaking to me, so where's my position in the squad? Do you want to sell me? Do you want to keep me? Like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
That's the thing about, again, the power of the social media these days, though, is very strong. It's easy to say for some people to accuse someone as the main culprit and accuse someone like the likes of Rudiger and Kovacic and that. It's easy to say that, but at the end of it, like, you can't really fault these players at all. Like, you can't really giving them a really bad stake over the fact that we don't really know what goes behind the scenes, and what goes behind the scenes. The fact that, again, I heard the rumors about the senior players, the likes of Rudiger and Kovacic, getting angry at the younger players, the likes of Billy Gilmour and that. I just don't think. Again, these journalists, the part of social media, the likes of journalists and that, they're just making up these stories and they're doing it just because of the money.
Exactly that. Alex, you want to add anything to it?
Yeah, I agree. Like, obviously, you can't always read into what the press say and what the media are saying. I can kind of believe some of the players going to the board, Lewis, as you said, if there was poor communication, all right, it was very obvious Lampard had his favourites. It was just clear. So if you weren't in his little clique, then yeah, you probably would have gone to complain to the board. I heard that Lampard and Cech also had a fallout, which wouldn't have helped. Cech potentially had an issue with the way that Lampard was running coaching sessions and his direction for the club. Also, he didn't get on with what's her name, Marina. What's her name?
Marina.
Yeah. He didn't get on with her at all, which, to be honest, doesn't surprise me because not many managers get on with her. She can be brutal. But yeah, I just think there was lots of miscommunication. We saw from Lampard in his press conference. He can be brutal. Lampard can be brutal in press conferences, so he's going to be brutal on the training field. So he's going to be brutal in conversation. So yeah, I'm not surprised players went to the board. I can fully believe that. So, and also, it's not like it doesn't happen at other clubs. Loads of clubs have players that get frustrated with the manager and go to the board and complain. We saw in the Spurs documentary, who was it that said he's going to go? Yeah, Danny. So I'm going to go talk to Daniel Levy about you. It happens all the time. So I can fully believe it, to be honest.
Even Christian Eriksen did it, though. To be fair.
Yeah, it's happened a good couple.
If you have an issue
you know what? They need
with the management, you go to the person above them. Just how it is.
Yeah, it is. I reckon that if they ever do a or nothing documentary about Chelsea, we'll see the amount of stuff behind the scenes that goes on.
You know what annoys me is the media act like people are stupid. They act like the average person who read this stuff is stupid. If you worked at any job, any kind of corporate office job, if you have an issue with your manager, you go to the people above them or HR. That's just how everything works in life. But they act like the average person is just stupid. I mean, a lot of people do believe this stuff and saying oh, they shouldn't have gone to the board. So what should they do? Should they just come today to work daily, miserable, their boss not talking to them, and just continue with it for the next 3-4 years? Unfortunately, that's not how the world works. I think not only in football and everything.
Yeah, you know what though, especially in football, because of how short term your contracts are, and obviously your kind of your key years of playing obviously comes to an end like that. Some of these senior players they don't have long. So I know some people are oh, you know what, you're not playing a few games, just chill and talk to the manager. But they're going to go to the board because they're being selfish and they're thinking about their own careers, which if we were in that position, we probably did the same thing, to be honest. We want to know what's our future like at this club.
No, to be honest, I have issue with this kind of people. People like Rory, who want to see Chelsea burn to the ground as long as Lampard is in charge of it. And unfortunately, that's not how the world works. It's never going to be that way. If you want romance, watch a soap opera. Football isn't for you. Football is business, and that's how it is. You can't just
To be fair,
like,
this
destroy
Roman
everything to
standards
be happy. You know?
shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't be happening.
Mm.
I mean, I'm sure Roman doesn't care from his yacht, like like
Probably
what
don't even listen.
people like
to it.
Rory care. Yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised if he does listen, but he's like, hey, look what I gave you, man. I gave you 5 Premier League in the last 15 years, a Champions League, 7 FA Cups, and a few Capital One Cups and Europa Leagues. You should be a lot more, thankful than you are.
The Roman out campaign that I'm starting to see come around on the timeline, and especially the circus continues BS I'm seeing from We Are the Shed. It just stinks. Ungratefulness is one word to describe it, but it also just stinks of just random complaining just about pointless things. Like 15 years, we've won more trophies than anyone else has in England. We've won more trophies than anyone has in 2000. Only 4 of those years was without Roman Abramovich. And in those 4 years, we won 1 trophy and we got battered by Arsenal every single year, home and away.
How you put it? How you put it into context. Since Arsenal last won the league, we won 5.
Yeah.
And a Champions League. That's like, just put it into context. People don't realize like the level of power that Abramovich gave to Chelsea.
Exactly. We aren't Chelsea without Abramovich. We're just it's Chelsea. We got Chelsea again. All right, cool, nice. We're going down to Stamford Bridge. Let's see if the bridge is still up, or if there's not roots coming out of the East Stand because we haven't renovated in about 35 years.
You're gonna get a bunch of hate for that, Lewis. I'm telling you.
No, but it's true, man. We were actually Roman. It was save the bridge.
Yeah, but people are sensitive. They don't want to hear the truth. They just want to hear.
People are sensitive, but
like Mourinho said, they want to blow out kisses at us and love, and
exactly
everything
all
is rosy and amazing.
Enjoying it for the sake of enjoying it. Who cares if we progress as a club?
Who cares if it's true or not? Yeah.
If Lampard's at the wheel, we can go League 2, and you know what? We'll win League 2, so we'll get to lift something. So that's calm. And I don't care though, because I've already said the same man who hate me, the same people who hate me anyway, because I vlog a game. So I'm not keeping them happy anyway. So why am I going to try keeping them happy? All they're happy
to my
about,
life, Lewis.
Get a Stella, get a pint in, meet the lads, and see what Lampard does in the day. But other than that, they don't give a shit. But guys, this is the end of the Blue Balls podcast. I do hope you guys have enjoyed it. We're going to leave you guys to watch the end of the first half of Liverpool Spurs. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you've missed absolutely nothing instead of an offside goal, but you guys probably have it on the side of the screen anyway. Smash the like and subscribe button. Check out the OneFootball app if you guys haven't done so already. And we'll see you guys very soon. Take